Why?
Hello everybody, welcome back to Got Somme, a wine podcast started with the idea of having a Master Sommelier assess $30 or less bottles of wine in Australia and try and find the best one. But this episode, usually it's about Carlos, of course, and it's about the wine in front of us, but it's also today about our patrons. We do have a Patreon. This is where people head there and they get the full unedited episodes. So what you're hearing or watching this on YouTube or Instagram right now is 10 minutes long, roughly. Usually they go for about 20 minutes plus, usually 23 to 25 minutes. And that's Carlos talking about all the ins and outs and intricacies of each glass of wine that we have. And then I try and pick what I think is the most easily approachable 10 minutes for the wider audience. And today, ta-da, we have a patron with us, Mr. Phil Conway. Hello, mate.
Hey, mate. How are you? Good to be here.
Very well. Very, very good, mate. Thanks for being here. Were you our first?
First Patreon, first follower possibly, and first guest.
First guest?
First guest. Lots of firsts.
Lots of firsts,
Yeah.
absolutely. Phil was, as soon as we launched, you were... Yeah, episode 1. How'd you find us? Through Carlos?
Carlos, yeah. I've known Carlos for a few years, just from following him in the wine world, and saw the thing come up, and I knew this was going to be good, and it is.
And so our patrons do get to pick the wines. So you've picked a couple, and today you've been pushing this one for months. Lightfoot 2021 Pinot Noir from Myrtle Point in Gippsland. Why is this up there for you with the best $30 under bottle?
I think Gippsland is one of our best regions for Pinot Noir, in my opinion, and one of the Pinots I really love in the world is Burgundy. It's got that real earthy, savoury, secondary characters, and this is one of the few wines you can find at this price bracket that offers that drinking experience. And when I first found it, I really got into it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is a well-deserved Pinot. As we crack it, we'll pour it, and we will assess it. And I'm not coming into this with a bias of this being in my top 3, but I am just Pinot obsessed at the moment, so I am the same. I'm very much hoping that it is as good as Phil has alluded to. All right, let's start at appearance. Now, Phil, I'm going to sit back from the microphone. I'm going to let you handle my job. You've listened to every episode. You know how I do it.
That's it.
Where would you like to start?
Well, I think we can look at the clarity of the wine first. You can see straight through to my hand, so definitely know it's a lighter style varietal, even though we do know it's a Pinot Noir. Nice bright red colour, slightly darker towards the edges. What do you think, Carlos?
Yeah, 100%. It's quite a deep colored Pinot Noir, and still showing a lot of very lively red and not purple, but ruby, red and ruby tones. So yeah, it's definitely. For Pinot Noir, it's almost could be almost confusing when you have Burgundy, but yeah, definitely on the light, on a very light skin colors, as you said, very well.
Anything to assess on the legs, guys?
Slowly running down, but nothing too out of control.
No, absolutely, yeah, I agree.
All right, let's go on the nose of this Lightfoot 2021 Pinot Noir from Gippsland. It smells immediately quite warm. It doesn't strike me as too far difficult or too far from the stonier Pinot Noir that we did have very early on in the episode. Just it smells...
Yeah, smells. It's the same
Similar-ish.
varietal. Yeah, it's the same varietal. So therefore, you're looking for that red fruit varietal. Strawberry, raspberry, cranberry, red cherry. And then I think the difference really is the level of ripeness. How do you see? You tasted the Stonier, Phil?
Yeah, I did the Sonia. Yeah, it was quite good. Yeah, it's definitely quite ripe for the fruit.
Look at me, a rose between two thorns.
Yeah, there's a little bit of peppery on the nose, which typically you find in Pinot Noir, but there's that peppery, little spicy, which could come from the oak. Typically Pinot Noir, you don't really have grounded pepper note, but I feel like there's quite a bit on the nose.
Like jammed kind of red fruits?
Jammed red fruits, definitely. And when I've from memory, trying the Stonier is much more lively, fresh red fruit, fresh strawberry, fresh raspberry, while here it's more jammed, definitely riper, indicating the climate, and probably the picking being late, a little bit later as well, with a lot more sugar in the grapes. which therefore may indicate as well a higher alcohol. Therefore, the legs being, running only probably 5 or 6 millimeters apart and quite accentuated.
All right. I'm certainly tempted to see if this is going to hit the palate and hit the top 3. So, to this one, boys.
Cheers. Cheers.
Thank you for being a patron. Thank you for being a friend.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
being a friend.
I think even before the palate, but you guys are already tasting, but I think there's some oak influence. I think that spice adding to a little bit more on the nose.
Yeah, there's definitely some spice coming through. Not so much the vanilla and stuff,
Yeah.
but that spice is there.
On the palate, you feel that's a little stalky greenness, which can add as well to that peppery kind of thing, a little spicy as well. But then again, alongside that really ripe, almost a little confit or jammed red fruit.
All right, let's go through our assessment, guys. What do we think? We'll start with you, Phil. What do you think the acid? Where is it sitting?
I would say medium plus.
Carlos?
Yeah, medium plus, definitely. You expect that in Pinot Noir. It's never medium or medium minus unless the winemaker
Forgot to pick the grapes.
exactly, unless the winemaker was having a good nap and
What about the body?
So probably leaning on the medium plus, but between medium plus.
Yeah, medium. I would say medium. I think medium is good. Medium plus. You're probably thinking of, I don't know, more. Could be a Cabernet Franc sometimes. I think medium. Yeah, medium plus. I think good. Yeah. What about you, Angus? How do you feel it on a palate?
I think it's a medium. No, I think
yeah.
it's medium because we assess all wines. We don't assess Pinots against each other, and I think medium plus for me is heading in towards more deeper territory. Even like a lighter Shiraz for me is kind of in that body of medium plus.
Yeah.
The tannins on this, Phil. What do you think?
I would say medium as well. I would have expected a little bit more from the whole cluster, but they're not overpowering at all.
I agree. I think it's the counterbalance from the ripe fruit. That is ripe fruit, but then the whole cluster that's kind of balancing each other. I think a strong medium as well. Yeah, it's soft. They silky tannins.
They're nice tannins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Phil, is it a sweet or dry wine?
It's definitely a dry wine. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a dry wine. We've done sweetness versus dryness, acid, body, tannin. Is there anything we're missing?
Alcohol,
What do we
Alcohol,
think?
most
Yeah.
important part.
That's it. Yeah.
Can we drive home after this recording? Let's find out.
I think it's probably in that medium category, around 13.
Yeah, medium is such a
13.
big category. I think, if we put a number, I think 13 as well, 13 and a half. Gippsland's, 13 and a half.
I personally think 13 and a half. I looked at the bottle, but yes, it is 13 and a half, which is surprising for me for a Pinot Noir to be at 13 and a half. Should it
I think
be?
that's kind of the range, like in
Yeah.
Burgundy.
I
That's
just think
their,
13 in
Yeah.
my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Burgundy's a 13 and a half.
Yeah,
That's what they kind of
Okay.
control
Yeah.
it at. They can't have it above that. So, and with it being warmer again, they usually tend to be around that 13.
Let's find out first what Carlos would pair this with food-wise, and then we'll ask what Phil, who does pair this with in his own home with.
I sure do.
What would you do, Carlos? What are you closing your eyes and thinking about?
With this one, so if I close my eyes and I think about matching this one, I will go for some bird game. Why? Why are you laughing?
Not the magpie.
Not
go
the
for
magpie
quail.
again.
You're not so
magpie.
like
No,
magpie
there
to
was.
If I do another day of pigeon or fucking magpie on this podcast, Patridge,
Spatchcock.
Yeah,
Spatchcock, why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be good, just spatchcock with,
Quail.
a little. Yeah, or quail. Because it's nice tender meat. Is smaller and more juicy than chicken.
should make
red
sure you
berry
go
stock.
into your local Coles and in the meat section you ask the person working, where's the spatchcock?
I'm sure they
Phil.
will find it.
What are you eating with this on a regular?
I'm going with the bird too, but nice and simple. Just keep it with the duck. I think it's good
Duck.
with
Duck,
duck.
yeah, duck.
It also
yeah.
goes quite well with some of the semi-hard and hard cheeses for me as well. I think it stands up quite
Yeah.
well to that. If you're looking for a red pairing for cheese during winter, it's a
Yeah.
good go-to.
Well, let's do golf claps for Phil.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you. Thanks
Pleasure
for
to be
coming.
here.